recording. You're recording. You're here. I'm here. This is broken. We're great. Hello. Welcome back to the Monday Morning Mind pod. I have a different second chair here, and the lovely Gadaja. And yeah, you like that?
That
was something.
I'm a little speechless.
And yeah, we're here doing podcasts, doing 4 podcasts that will either get us killed, get us hunted by the CIA, the FBI, or shot down entirely. So let's do it.
No, we're good. We're gonna be okay. Because I'm gonna come with that crack boom, so it's fine.
Crack boom. Okay, so today on this 4-part series, so far 4-part series. I don't know if there's gonna be more, but it's a 4-part series. We're talking about ancient civilizations because I find this topic fascinating, and I want to get in on the conversation. Everybody else seems to be getting in on it. I want to get in on it too. So what do you know?
I don't know much about it.
But tell me what you have learned or what you have known about how things worked.
I unfortunately do not know because I live under a rock.
Why no? I know you're very under your rock. You're very secure.
Yeah, you got me.
Well, I know you have to have gathered some sort of information, or you have a belief of where people have come from and like how we evolved and how we became what we are today. What do you...
I believe there was 2 people on this planet and they procreated, and unfortunately I think they procreated with their children.
Probably.
Because that's just how some people and cultures are. So that's kind of what I believe. I don't know how some cultures came about. I don't really know.
You know, like the Egyptians, Sumerians, Neanderthals.
No, I know that there's something about the Egyptians in there. What do you call it there? When they're the mummies, and you don't mess with the mummies and unwrap the mummies. That's what I do know.
That's true. You don't know how they come about, like the timelines or anything?
No, you probably know a quadrillion more than I do, okay. Because I do not.
Well, okay. Let me start a long time ago. I have stuff written down in like a mismatch hodgepodge of bullshit. So sorry. It's gonna be a little back over here, back over here, back over here. So we're gonna go. You sat more in there, hadn't you?
Because my shoulders hurting, back's hurting. I'm old. I'm getting old.
And I'm the old one here. Okay, so we're gonna go back roughly 1 million years, okay? Roughly. Right about her. I'm gonna first say the mainstream view, how they want you to think. And then I'm gonna
they can't make me think nothing when I don't know nothing. So
well, this is pretty much how everybody's been taught, and how they think, and they want us to think, and you
they can't make me
out
think.
there to think.
They can't make me do it.
So this is like 1 million years ago, you know. I don't know how to say this very well, Homo heidelbergensis.
That's good. Yeah. I would have fucked that up way worse.
I don't know when they began. We're not talking about them too much. So, they came up to 500,000 years ago, and then it kind of split off between us and Neanderthals and Denisovans. Like, we kind of like went this way, they kind of went that way, but they're all kind of like close and interconnected, whatnot. And then let's see, if that's 500,000, that's 250. I'm sure this portion of this diagram, not exactly the most accurate, but we're going with it anyway. Wow. Don't mind that. Okay, that's present day. And this is about when they died off.
I see a boat.
Clearly, this is the ocean. Yeah, that is a boat. And he's about to crash land into that. But anyway,
I also see a shoe.
Yeah.
I'm sorry. I'm sorry.
So the boat shoe. Okay, so Homo heidelbergensis, Homo sapien. That's us. And then Neanderthals, Denisovans, anybody else, they all kind of branched out that direction. There's a couple different species. They're finding them all the time. But they weren't what we were taught about. Like, those are like recent findings. What I'm saying, how we were taught. So, it was just a matter of like they died out during the last ice age with like all the mammoths and saber-tooth tigers and all that. They just kind of went away with those, and then humanity wins, yay! And then all this time, right about year-ish, civilization started, and the first cities, the first like farms and agriculture and all this stuff started happening like 5,000-6,000 years ago. Before then, we were just roaming around like idiots. Even though we're gonna say about here. About here is about 300. No. Yeah, we're gonna say 315-ish thousand years ago. And yes, I put the ish in the middle and not at the end because I'm fancy like that. So from 315,000-ish years ago to 5,000 years ago, we were just roaming around, chilling, hanging out, doing not a whole lot. The same type of human beings as us. Like, we haven't changed since there. No change. Brains still function the same. Still same size. Still same everything. But we just didn't do anything until right there. Then all of society happened right there at the end. And, like pyramids came around 5,000 years ago. Stonehenge came around 10,000 years ago. The first city of Sumer came around 6,000 years ago, so maybe just ever so slightly beforehand. And that's what we were supposed to believe. That they had did their own thing, we did our own thing, but we didn't do jack shit until 5,000 years ago.
Well, luckily I don't believe and don't know nothing about it. Try to make me believe when I wasn't fed this. I was more taught about my culture. That's what my mom wanted embedded into my brain. Was our culture, where we came from, what the man did to us. That's all I know. Like,
like this last in section right here. You don't know any of this. It's very upsetting.
Sorry, sexy. You're sexy.
Well, fine. I get to teach you. Get to teach you. So, the mainstream point of view is, we started somewhere here in that vicinity. And we just chilled down there for like 200,000 years or so. And then started to like venture out. And then we met up with Neanderthals and had, disagreements. And we eventually made it over like a land bridge that was here from Russia to Alaska. And we came down and we made it over here like, I don't know, 5,000-10,000 years ago maybe. And we were roaming around in here. And we made it down here like 10,000 years ago. But like we just kind of chilled out and did nothing, and then we started roaming around and we got everywhere like 10,000 years ago, and then we didn't set up any permanent things till about 5,000 years ago, right around here and right around here. And that's kind of all we did until and here, sorry. For that long. That's all we did. We didn't really do shit. But they were humans. They were us. Just as we are right now. You don't think that they were like thinking, constructing things, doing things?
I'm sure there was somebody who probably did. And I think that more so what happened was they got greedy, and that one person...
Well, we're going to discuss that on our next episode. Don't you worry.
Yeah, that's what I think. Somebody was one evil fuck. Sorry.
Oh no, there were 5 families of evil fucks. Don't worry about it.
It's scary. It scared me.
But yeah, so that's the general consensus of what happened. Like, this is like kinda like Afghanistan-ish area where Sumer, like this is like the first civilization. They had Egypt, that was 5,000 years ago. Like those two were like this, like 1,000 years before this one. And then they just like right around the time that I was born, they found like a site here that had a whol bunch of pillars and structures that were purposefully buried, called Göbekli Tepe. Can't say that very well. But that was done 10,000 years ago up here in England. They had, Stonehenge, that was also 10,000 years ago. And they were just like, well, how did people do that 10,000 years ago and, 5,000 years ago, and make a big old city over here 5,000 years ago. And then like 1,000 years ago, we had, like the Aztecs and the Maya and like whoever roaming around down here. Like all that was happening like at the same time.
It looks like a foot.
Thank you. The foot known as South America. The foot of the Americas. Sorry, South America. Okay. So that's pretty much ancient civilizations right there. That's what they want you to know. That's how they want you to think. Well, now let's go to what I believe, I think, after a bunch of research done by people a lot smarter than me, or about the same smart as me, but just have done things. Okay, we're gonna do a similar version of what I just did, but how it appears to be going, and how it appears to have gone, and how it appears everything actually worked, as far as we know, as of right now, at least. Who knows? Okay, and what I think is going on. I'm gonna draw these back here.
A woman's shoe.
Uh-huh.
Vintage.
Uh-huh. So, just recently, they discovered. Oh, here, I'm gonna draw this out too. Sorry. Alaska. Baja California.
It's a dolphin.
Jesus Christ.
It's a human dolphin. Oh, look at that booty. I'm sorry. It looks so good though. It looks like it looks like a dolphin.
It's a fucked up dolphin. It had some exposure to some shit.
Chemicals.
Yeah, some bad chemicals. Spania. Come down here to this guy. Come over here to that. China. Australia. Sorry, Australia. Russia. And Russia. And then Africa. Throw Madagascar in there for funsies. And Japan in there for funsies. Okay. The Earth is back. Yay! We're not all into space. Okay, so they just discovered this not too long ago. I don't know when, but not too long ago, that the Homo heidelbergensis, these guys that were just chilling before, we kind of evolved into humans. They had a permanent settlement 800,000 years ago. Here-ish. Right here. They're just kind of chilling out there. And then, we still started somewhere in here. But every, 7,000 years, you know how, the Sahara's there, the big-ass desert? That turns green every 7,000 years. And has for millions of years now at this point. So they think that humans, when they kind of were, here.
Peed in it?
Huh?
Peed in it?
They peed
shit in it?
They definitely
took showers in it?
They definitely peed, took showers in here.
Birthed?
And birthed. And there were, rivers, and they would come in, chill up here for 7,000 years, expand out, and then come back down here. Right? There was green desert, green desert, green desert every 7,000 years. 7,000 years, I don't know if you know this or not, but that's a long time. Because all of our human history, civilization that we have in the mainstream view has happened in 7,000 years. So that's a long time for it to just be green, chill, and then go back to being desert for 7,000 years, and then 7,000 years more green. So that's a long time. So
Just want you to know, if you write the numbers on there, that would help me. You don't even know. That's me trying to sound like the president.
800,000. Let's see. This is honestly, this is 300,000. This is 300. I don't know. This is 500,000 years ago. But humans didn't come around until 315,000 years ago. So this might have went more that type of deal. 3. That's my boy. Okay, so 300,000 years ago, humans, same as us. Maybe slightly different, because during this area, let's see, Denisovans, they were kind of over here. Neanderthals, they were kind of up here roaming around. But we all kind of met and either war or hey, we could fuck, you know, something happened in there, because all of us humans nowadays, at least most of us, have some portion of at least Neanderthal, if not Neanderthal and Denisovan DNA.
Of course, everybody was fucking because, like I said in the beginning, I believe maybe I don't know. It's just embedded in my brain is the two people that were on this earth. What I know, what I was taught as a little girl was Adam and Eve.
Yeah.
And those two, there, I think there was other two people that he put on the earth for you know,
Diversity's sake.
yeah. And I think that they were doing things that they weren't supposed to with each other.
They're fucking.
Like nieces, nephews, daughters.
They were fucking.
So disgusting. Yours.
I like this timeline better than that timeline. But anyway, so you know, every like 7 years for hundreds of thousands of years, they were up and moving out, chilling. Probably not settling down entirely, but you know, chilling out, moving. So, man, I forgot how I was gonna have this all worded. Like, I had this so ready, and
It's
then
okay, it's okay. You could cut it.
I've lost it so hard. So I think, and some people, some archaeologists and journalists and such, think that we got out of Africa, you know, far before like the 10-20,000 years ago, and we were out moving around. And I think that people got here and or came by boat across, because they had boats for sure. There was like seafaring peoples in like ancient way back times, and they had settlements over here in like 20,000 years ago, because we found in New Mexico human footprints 20,000 years ago, 20,000 years old. So they had to got there somewhere, not just like 10,000 years ago. What?
I also just remembered that as a kid, this was like something I was taught as well, is the Greek. Like that was something I had to study in school, was Greek mythology, and that it was like, okay, the gods, there was gods who had children. I don't know. There's some belief in that too. I don't know what the fuck to believe, okay? But that's what I was taught.
And we're gonna kind of get into that more on the 4th episode.
I love Greek mythology. I had to study Latin, and at first when I was in 2nd and 3rd grade, I was fluent. But
we're
kind
gonna
of
get
just
into a similar, but definitely not that topic in the 4th.
Anyway, sorry to interrupt. Keep going.
But that all that history right there, still after everything that I'm talking about right now, thousands of years after everything I'm talking about right now. I'm talking about before all that shit happened. But yeah, so there was the fucking, and everybody was gathering around right here, and or warring, and or, you know, worse, whoring, warring, and
group
the
sex.
likes. Yeah, you know,
Yeah.
freaky things. Oh fuck. I think, you know, about 20,000 years ago. So we're gonna be like right about. Oh, these guys all died off 40,000 years ago, dead. 40,000 for you. So 20,000 years ago. This is present. 20,000 years ago, I believe Atlantis was here. It was a real thing. It's called the reshot structure. I'll show you. Do you know the description of Atlantis, babe?
All I know is it from a movie.
And
That's it.
that's it? But what do you know about it?
Yeah, it's some ocean.
It's supposed to be in the ocean. But it's supposed to be taken out by the ocean. And it's supposed to be a circular, like 3 or 4 circles with water in the middle, and they lived on the circles, right? Now they found this. This has always been intriguing to them. They say it's an old volcano, but that's what you got. Now, in those times, about 20,000 years ago ish, it's like right here ish.
I just want more pictures. It looks cool.
The way that what was it, Plato, I think it was, described it. It was described that it came to its end and then the giant flood that wiped it out. Plato learned from, I think, from like a philosopher before him, a Greek philosopher, pretty sure it's a Greek philosopher, who learned from an ancient Egyptian guy who said, like 9,000 years before, they were talking, Atlantis was real and it was wiped out, and that it had mountains to the north, which the reshot structure does. It has a waterway to the south, which it did back when, you know, the green came up and there were rivers and whatnot, and it had access to the Atlantic Ocean, and it could trade out. And then an event called the Younger Dryas happened, which they're pretty sure, they think that it was a couple of giant, like either asteroid or meteor impacts happened, like right here and potentially over here, and it hit the ice sheet that was right here, melted the ice. There is like giant water erosion patterns up in northern United States, like as if something melted a giant piece of ice and it all rushed down into the sea and just cut through everything. There's like they've used LiDAR scanners to detect like pot marks that all kind of surround the area, as if something crashed, exploded, and then sent chunks of it all throughout like the US. And in every civilization throughout the world, there's a flood myth. There's floods. Like down here there's flood myths, up here there's flood myths, over here there's flood myths, like ancient cities over here have flood myths, these have flood myths, they have flood myths, everywhere has flood myths. So they think that took out Atlantis, which had a flood that came this way, swept it into the Atlantic Ocean. And I think that the survivors of that, which happened 13,000 years ago, 11,000 BC, 11,600 BC, I think the survivors of that went over and tried to reconstruct civilization, and that's what started Egypt.
I need to know.
My theory.
How did they get there? They're walking?
Yeah.
That's insane. That's a long time to walk.
It's green.
I get that, but like
they have settlements.
Walking.
They have settlements, and they have cities, and they have like things in here
I get that.
that they can go to. like not all of them survived. Obviously, they got swept into the ocean, but like people that were out there, and I think they might have started right around then. That's what I think. That's my belief. Another interjection because I forgot to talk about it while I was talking about things. So you know how I said that I think the Atlantis people moved over to become ancient Egyptian people, or helped influence ancient Egypt, because they were rocking, 20,000 years ago over in Atlantis, and then the Egyptians have a king's list. Now, like, archaeologists think the king's list goes back to like 5,000 years ago, as like a couple different dynasties, and then everything else is myth. But the Egyptians wrote it down as if it was fact, and they went back like 10, 20,000, 30,000 years ago. So I think when the Young Dryas happened, they came over and they started a new settlement there and started building things back when they had like the technology still, instead of, or maybe they were competing, or twin cities or something. Maybe they had already had that technology back then, back when Atlantis was still going, before it got destroyed. That, I had them on here, that's why I was pointing there. Just imagine my drawing still being there. But that's the king's list that goes back like 30,000 years is why I think, or 10 to 15,000 years. I think that's why that movement could have existed, and why they could become them or something. Anyway, I just wanted to put that in there. Back to your podcast. That's my theory. And then they made like the Sphinx, like instead of 4,000 years ago, they made that like 10,000 years ago. Because there's evidence to suggest that it points to the constellation Leo. It had a bigger head that was once a lion, but they refixed it because it fell apart. And then they built the pyramids. And in that, they still have no idea how they built the pyramids. No clue. And they say that Göbekli Tepe, that's here, was built like 10,000 years ago. And they theorize that there's a whole bunch of warnings about like snakes falling from the sky and like big things falling from the sky that point to where we cross this meteor shower twice every year, and it points directly to like the constellation that we cross the meteor shower in every year. And they think that's when that happened, is when one of the big meteor shower, a big chunk, came down, whacked us twice. And that kind of reset civilization back from, being crazy good, and like the older pyramids were better built than the newer pyramids. Like we have big structures out here, we have big structures out here, like from thousands of years ago, and then it all went like downhill because, and like we were talking a couple days ago, how only like crazy psychos survive like nuclear winter. Only crazy psychos survived the, like some smart people, like cultured people, survived the impacts and whatnot. Oh, also, in here, in this vicinity, there are, in Turkey, there are underground cities that can hold up to like hundreds of thousands of people. And they have no idea when they were built and what they were built for. And they think it might have been built in case of another impact. It has ventilation and it has like water underneath. And it's just a city that can house animals, people, everything. They think that and I also agree that like like you know the majority were like hunters and crazy ass people that survived this, and then it kind of went. Then society had to rebuild itself, so we went through like Stone Age, the Dark Ages. They found all this shit, and they kind of settled in the places where things were built, and then society slowly evolved into like instead of whatever technologies they had back then that helped them build cities and crazy like pyramids and crazy cities back then, we now have like less good things and everything is greed driven instead of earthly living driven, or however whatever they were kind of programmed to live like back then. And we've all kind of like went down into this greed madness that everybody has, and nobody gives a fuck about anything anymore except for money and power. But that's why I think like it seems so foreign that could be a possibility because of how things have gone since 11,600 years ago. But I believe like they went this way. They were kind of prosperous until they got hit by an asteroid. And we went prosperous but at a different route to like greed and making sure we do this and that to make more money. Like the crazy people that survived this became crazy power hungry people, and then that just perpetuated until nowadays when everything is capitalism. Okay, I forgot to talk about this point, so I'm going to talk about it real quick. And then we'll cut back to the episode we did the full episode part. So as I was just talking about, the Homo heidelbergensis, right? The dude that's chilling right here in this timeline before humans, like the predecessor to humans. 800,000 years ago, they found evidence. Huh? Oh.
It's dying.
I know it is. 800,000 years ago, they found evidence of a permanent settlement of them. Like, where they would hunt, eat fish, chill. Like, they didn't find any structures, but that was 800,000 years ago. Anything back then probably would be like wood or animal pelts, all that gone in time. So, like they were chilling 800,000 years ago, right? Also, just recently, they found at the end of a waterfall. They found two. God damn, this is just dying. They found two wood planks. Interlocked with like cutouts so that they could fit together nicely to build something, probably like a house. It was built by a waterfall, and that was 500,000 years ago. So like they have one settlement from them that they found 800,000 years ago, one settlement they found 500,000 years ago, and that was like the humans before humans. So why on earth would we think that humans came around after these two, which were 300,000 years ago, the entire span of humanity? Were we just chilling and doing nothing for like 90% of that? Like, legitimately, if you take this whole whiteboard...
I could tell you what they were doing.
Fucking?
Yeah.
Yeah. There's no way they were just fucking. Why? You can only spend so much time fucking. You can only spend so much time fucking.
The next day.
Yeah,
next day.
fucking's good, but you gotta have somewhere to fuck, so you're probably gonna build somewhere to fuck in. Probably gonna build yourself a fucking shack.
Wow.
So you build yourself a fucking shack, and then your friends build fucking shacks around, and then you have a little community of fucking people, and then you're gonna want food.
You have a community of what?
Of fucking people. But if this is like the entire timeline of humans, 300,000 years, 315,000 years, 315,000 years. Okay, so you can see back there in the class. If this is the whole timeline, this is all of civilization. This is where we think people have built structures, built agriculture, built whatever. That's it. Out of all this time existing on Earth, that's it.
Maybe they didn't want to work that hard.
But they're exactly like us.
Maybe they're just like,
There's
not today.
there's no way they were lazy. They're trying to survive. There's no way that they're lazy. We're lazy now because we have nothing to do. We have phones that distract us. We have, computers like doing podcasts that distracts us, makes us lazy. It makes us not want to do anything, create anything. Because people have already created things, so why do we gotta create things? We already live in a house. We don't have to try to survive. We don't have to try to hunt. We don't have to try to do shit. But back then, they didn't have all this shit. All this time, they didn't have all this shit.
I think they realize, I want my kid to be protected.
Yeah. They all this fucking gotta produce babies. Now they gotta protect their babies. You're not just gonna be like laying out there under the stars. You're gonna be in a house. So like yeah, sure, there are caves, sure. But like, if you wanna live out there by a stream, there's no caves. Probably. You need a house. But they had houses and settlements back 800,000 years ago. They had interlocking wooden structures 500,000 years ago. And we just didn't do anything. I find that very hard to believe.
I hear you, yeah. Well, yeah. I believe you, yeah.
I find that hard to believe.
I believe you. I believe that.
And that's why I'm like...
I believe that, like, what they're trying to do now is erase history. They already maybe erased the history so nobody would know.
Yeah,
to hide something.
Like Zahi Hawass. He is like the guy of like Egypt and antiquities. Mm-hmm. Like he just dismisses anything that he doesn't say. Any theory. He's like, no, not that. What I said. That's it. And like he's been in charge for like 50 years. So it's all been swept under the rug by him. That's just Egypt. Like there's like other things. In the Americas, like it was supposed to be that we came to America, like people came to America like 10,000 years ago, 5,000 years ago, and that's it. They crossed the land bridge that was between Russia and us, came through a glacier and came into the Americas like 10,000 years ago, and that's it. But then, like, there was people like, well, that can't be right because like they were doing things over here. There's like plenty of shit over here. They could have got over here, and then everybody was like, no, impossible. And then they found the 20,000-year-old footprints in White Sands, New Mexico. And then they're like, oh, see?
Well, I believe you.
It's just people just shut people down because they're like, oh, well, you can't be right because that can happen. But yeah, it can. Look at all this fucking time. Like, shit can happen in that time.
Yeah. It's just somebody doesn't want somebody to know something.
Yes.
That's what it is.
Yes, for sure.
So they erased it.
And that's going to be in episode 4. But back to your previously scheduled podcast presented by us.
That's good.
That's what I think. That's how I think we were shaped. What are your thoughts?
That looks like a dick.
So what do you think? What are your thoughts? I'm sure I'm gonna get a lot of ridicule for that, but
Don't worry about them.
I don't.
There's gonna be comments like,
"You're crazy. You're stupid." It's fine. I don't give a fuck. That's what I think. That's what I think it is. And if I'm wrong, who cares? If I'm right, I fucking told you. But that perfectly sets us up for the next episode. Oh no, hold on. What are your thoughts? What do you think?
I think that was a lot, and I don't. I can't unsee the dick, and
Now it's a white dick with black balls. Is that good?
I think that I enjoyed this. Okay, here. I feel like I'm in history class.
Yeah.
And my thing with that is I failed history. I'm not lying. That's why I had my mom prescribed me, because there was some classes where I am just like,
Yeah.
squirrel.
Well, that's why I did the what we were taught, so you can kind of learn what we were kind of taught, and then what I think, believe, and have heard and seen and evidence.
And I like the story.
Otherwise.
Like I heard you.
Yeah.
And the stories about the flood and people recreating a house just in case, and the asteroid, and I got pinpointers.
Yeah. But anyway, the descent into greed and madness and chaos caused by this is directly leads us into the next episode, which we're going to talk politics, because hey, I just turned 35 and I can run for president now. Will I? Find out on the next episode. Bye-bye.